All right, so this is how you're going to get to that paragraph. First, we've got to analyze the text. So you're going to review the text and identify facts each author uses. Okay, so remember, facts are things that you can verify. It might be like a common knowledge fact, or it could be something where they're showing their research. Conclusions each author draws. So how are they reading into those facts? So what conclusions they're drawing, how they're reading in, what assumptions they're making based on those facts, and then the personal opinions of each author. And then you're going to use the chart to help you answer or to record those answers in. And so you're going to have to go back to modules here. And we're here in September 22nd, Unit 1, Analyzing the Text. So we're going to open this up. You're going to click on the button. And I always like to make mine a little bigger. Okay, so you are going to be typing in here. And let's go back. So things that you want to look at, you're going to carefully analyze and classify the arguments. Arguments, are they logical? Presentation of the claim. So again, looking at their conclusions that they're drawing. Are they logical conclusions, or are they kind of blowing it out of the water? So this is what you're going to be working on. And let's go to my example. And so facts included, conclusions or interpretations based in author's personal opinions. This is what we're working on here. So I'm doing 3 cheers for the nanny state. So here's my example, and I'm going to go ahead and get to that document here. So if we look at the text, 3 cheers for the nanny state, it's on page 277 in our textbook. And I have my textbook here right in front of me to help me out with that. When we look at that first sentence, why has there been so much fuss about New York City's attempt to impose a soda ban? The soda ban has, if you're looking at your text, a little number 1 on there, and that's our footnote to tell us that we need to go to the bottom of the page. And at the bottom of the page, it says, in 2013, New York passed a law prohibiting soda containers larger than 16 ounces in volume. The New York State Court of Appeals later overturned that law. But we've got this fact here that her argument is based on. Sarah Conley is our author, and she's basing it on this fact. So I'm going to go ahead and add in that fact there. So it says that New York City, and I'm going to use NYC, passed a law prohibiting. Remember, prohibiting just means it's stopping. It's saying you can't do it. Prohibiting soda containers larger than 16 ounces in volume. Okay, so that's one fact that she's presenting. She's opening it up and saying, this is the problem. Then, as we go on, other facts that she includes, and if we turn the page to page 278 in our textbook here, she talks about those cognitive biases that make us choose or kind of keep us from making the right choices. So, and then instead of, because there are 3 paragraphs 8, 9, and 10 talk about this, but I'm not going to write all of that information down. I'm just going to put the most important part. So that cognitive bias that trips our mind up, that's her argument. That's the research that we found. It even tells us there that it was researched by a psychologist and behavioralist, and then that gives the names. So I know she's done some research here. And so she talks about the optimism bias, the present bias, and the status quo bias. I did not, again, write down the whole paragraph that it was in. I just did the highlights so I know what it is when I go back to look at my notes here. So optimism bias is it's not going to happen to us. It's that idea that, well, again, it's not going to happen to us. The present bias is the procrastinating the small things, the small steps, because you're just stuck in the moment. Then we have that status quo bias, which is that it's good enough. We value what we already have. So those are those 3 biases that she talked about and that she used as her evidence to support that idea that we can't control ourselves. We need those laws. Then, if I turn to page 279, this is a common knowledge fact that I found, and that she uses also to support her claim. And it is that some of us can drive safely at 90 miles per hour. So it's that speeding law. And so those are there to help keep us all safe, because not everybody, even though you feel comfortable driving, not everybody can drive safely at 90 miles an hour. So those are the facts that I found that are kind of the big ones that she uses to support her claim, that we should have that soda ban. So then we come down here to the conclusions or interpretations. So what does she think? Well, this is a good idea, but it's really not about the soda. It's more about the decision making. That's the conclusion that she draws. Yes, there's a little bit about soda, but it's not all about soda. It's about our decision making that is keeping us from being the best that we can. Okay, keeping us healthy here. Then we get down to the author's personal opinion. So with this conclusion, let me jump back up into here. I had to read into that a little bit. Okay, it just doesn't say it point blank. We're looking at the evidence she provides. The whole feel of this article is that she is promoting the ban. She thinks it's good. Okay. And then I had to read into it just a little bit. So interpretations based on the facts. How is she interpreting the facts? What do I think she's thinking? Okay, because that's all about the argument. The author puts their opinions out, and we've got to try to catch what they're giving us. Okay, and so for that conclusion and that interpretation, it's what I think she's using her facts to support. Okay. And so that's where that becomes that decision, and not really about the negative effects of soda. It's more about that decision-making process. And we have trouble doing that based on these biases. Okay. Now, jumping down to the author's personal opinion. Again, this is what we think. So we put it into a couple of statements. She thinks that the ban is not really a big deal, and she agrees with it. All right. She thinks we need to get over ourselves and just take that ban because it's going to help us out in the end. Okay. So that's how we're going to fill in the 3 cheers for the nanny state. So you are responsible now to fill in the ban and soda's a problem, but. And if we go back here to our slides, and I'll go to our next slide here. I did 3 cheers for the nanny state, which is right here on 277 to 280. And you are going to be working on the ban, which starts on page 287 and runs through 288. And then soda's a problem, but is 288 through 289. So you're going to be working on this planning and pre-writing for your final assessment.